Hey guys, welcome to a new election prediction video, and in today's video we're going to be doing the Democrat Amy Klobachar from Minnesota to President Donald Trump. So I just wanted to say before we start this, election day 2020 is a long way away, so whether or not any of the stuff that I say stands is still to be determined. So that's just a disclaimer before this video actually starts. So let's jump right into this. Starting with the safe states for the Democrats. Obviously, the West Coast is going to be safe for the Democrats. They will hold on to all of those states. I'm going to call New Mexico safe for the Democrats. I'm not going to call Minnesota safe. Illinois safe for the Democrats. New York, Vermont. New England and East Coast. Let's see, is there any other safe Democratic states? Okay. Now for the safe Republican states. Except for that. Except for that one vote. 3. I'm just kind of changing some of the ones that I'm calling here as I do it, because I went over this prediction before I even started this video, and now I'm starting to think about some of them. I'm like, well, that could be a close race. Okay, so this is the map that I have. With the safe states, it's 187 for Klobachar to 104 for President Trump. So we're going to start here in Nevada. Nevada is going to... It went for Hillary Clinton in 2016 and went for Obama in both elections. So Nevada is, tremendously more... becoming more democratic, more reliably of a democratic state. I wouldn't call it a solid democratic state thus far in modern political spectrum or whatever you want to say, but I would call it a state that is reliably democratic. Now, Trump, if a state like Nevada voted for Clinton as corrupt as Democrats themselves actually thought Hillary Clinton was, I think that just about any Democrat that is at least generic, Nevada would go pretty well for. So I'm going to lean Nevada for Klobuchar. Actually, we're going to go moderately Democratic for Klobuchar. I think she would gain on Clinton's lead. In the state of Arizona, it's becoming more and more of a swing state, more and more of a toss-up, maybe even leaning Democratic in elections sooner than we think. But I think that Arizona is going to stick with Trump very slightly in this election. But the shifting demographics in Arizona, as well as in New Mexico and Texas, are all so... They change so much that it's hard to tell actually how a state is going to go. It also could be policy. The northern states, white educated voters and white working class voters are all starting to become more reliably Republican. And why is that? It's because the Democrats are losing their economic beliefs that they had around the time of FDR and Harry Truman in World War II, and they're starting to become on more of a socialist agenda. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not support total socialism. I don't think it would work in some cases. In other cases, I do agree with it. But I stand more historical Democrat on, like FDR style Democrat on in terms of, economic issues. So that's what I think there. And it's happening all across the Rust Belt. West Virginia switched red because Democrats are becoming the issue of coal is becoming less and less popular in the Democratic Party as it used to be. Democrats used to be like the coal, the the coal representatives. Like, they used to be the people who were for coal. Republicans would be against it. The partisan has switched so much over history that it's so different. There was the one time um, between secession and after rebuilding the United States, that Democrats were for slavery, Republicans were against slavery, and then after that period, Republicans well, not Republicans, but it just kind of slowly switched. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was one candidate or a series of candidates. Don't ask me, but it kind of just switched. Whereas now Republicans are seen as the racist party in America, and Democrats are seen as the more diverse party in America. Now, that does still hold true. And, that has been it for the last, century. A century and a half, maybe even, actually. So it's very, 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 very different than it was back in the time of the Civil War. Barry Goldwater, if you don't recall him, you can look at the historical elections and see what election he was. He is the one that transitioned the South to be more of a Republican base. So I think Democrats, I think the South as a whole is becoming significantly more liberal. It's kind of phasing out the Goldwater effect. Even Alabama and Mississippi, everything in the South is becoming more liberal. Everything in the North is becoming more conservative. And together, eventually, it will switch. Eventually, maybe it will look like the map right now, only different colors, whereas the red states I have on here right now are blue, and the blue states I have on here are red. History repeats itself, and whether or not it repeats itself again is still to be determined. So the state of Colorado, I think, would go for Amy Klobuchar. In the state of Texas, I think that one would stick with Donald Trump. Once again, another conservative state that is becoming significantly more liberal. This district, I think, would just lean with Donald Trump. I think Missouri would go solidly for Donald Trump in the end of the night. Same with Iowa. I think Amy Klobuchar would win her own state, adding on to a Clinton lead. And I think she would also sweep the Rust Belt, taking it back from the Republicans. Different story, this is going to go solid. Different story in states like Ohio and Indiana and stuff. I think that she would win Virginia easily. I think that she would lean North Carolina. Once again, another conservative state that's turning red is the state of Georgia. I think this would just lean for Donald Trump. And I think that Donald Trump would just barely hold on to the state of Florida. Amy Klobuchar winning the state of New Hampshire, and then this one electoral vote going to the Republicans. So this is my map here. I have Amy Klobuchar at 293 and Trump at 245. Now, there's a best case and a worst case scenario for each candidate. A best case scenario for Donald Trump is that he picks up, Colorado, picks up Nevada, holds on to the Rust Belt pretty easily, holds on to North Carolina, maybe even picks up Virginia and picks up New Hampshire, and maybe even wins over the entire Maine at large. Anything could happen in a presidential election. This would be the best case scenario for Donald Trump at this point. This would be a landslide victory in his favor. A better case scenario, it's already a good case scenario for Amy Klobuchar, but a better case scenario for her would be to win the state of Arizona. Obviously, hold on to the Rust Belt. Flip Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, flip Georgia, flip Florida, New Hampshire, Maine at large, Iowa, this district in Nebraska, flip Texas, Missouri. This would be a better case scenario for Amy Klobuchar. Winning these traditionally conservative states in most cases, but have the tendency in the last 20, I'd say, years to vote, 20 or 30 years to vote Democratic. So, flipping those states would be best case scenario for her. It's not easy for a Democrat to flip a deep blue state like California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York, any of the New England states. But I will tell you, it's easier for a Democrat to flip a moderately red state than it is for a Republican to flip a moderately blue state. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but that just seems to be the case. So thanks for watching this video. Once again, leave a comment on what you think I should post, and thanks for watching.